All right, welcome to the first ever Questions with Chris. And what I'm doing is I'm answering fan submitted questions. So the first question comes from @AJ2766. And what he wants to know is, what is your favorite Ultimate X match of all time? I'm going with the very first Ultimate X match because there's a story behind it. So the first Ultimate X match, which was myself, Frankie Kazarian, and Michael Shane, we showed up to the building the day before. So this was a Tuesday because this was during the Wednesday P&A pay-per-views. We show up to the building and the structure is nothing more than 4 metal poles inside the turnbuckle posts with the cables strung up, making the X over the ring. None of us had been on the structure, none of us had seen it. This was all our first experience with it at all. I remember Frankie Kazarian was the first one to get in the ring, set up the ladder. He climbs up and he grabs the cables. And then he tries to hang on the cables to take away the ladder. And then next thing I know, he's standing in the ring, holding the cable, and all 4 metal poles in the post just bent inward. It just wasn't thought out thoroughly, I guess. You know, this is a new kind of match. This match has never been done in wrestling before. So we were kind of struggling after that, trying to think of, well, how are we gonna do this? We have to do this match. It's been advertised for weeks. It's this big deal. What's gonna happen? They're brainstorming all day. Nothing happens that night. We show up at the pay-per-view. We show up early to try and maybe see if they got the structure built, because, you know, something like that, you wanna go up there, you wanna hang on the structure, you wanna check it out, you wanna test it out. You don't just wanna go into this thing blindly, but that's what we had to do. They didn't decide how to build the structure until the very last minute, and what they decided to use was those big light trusses that you see above the ring, hanging above. They always have the lights that are shining down. They took apart one of those and they had 4 on each pole, and that was strong enough to hold us up. But, you know, we did not have any idea what was gonna happen or what the structure was gonna feel like, if it was gonna hold. So luckily it all held up. There was obviously some hiccups because, you know, if anyone that remembers, in 2003, the belt falling off a couple times during the match. But, you know, after it was done and the dust has settled, we were pretty happy with how it turned out. You know, the structure didn't bend, it didn't fall apart, and yeah, I think just because it's very memorable, that's my favorite Ultimate X match, and it obviously became one of the staple matches in pro wrestling for years going forward. Okay, this next question here comes from @CageD Classic. And CageD Classic is asking, what is your favorite Pokemon? So I'm gonna say Sudowoodo. Sudowoodo is my favorite Pokemon. Why? Why would you say Sudowoodo? There's so many cooler Pokemon than Sudowoodo. But here's the thing. I wasn't a huge Pokemon guy growing up, but I started playing Pokemon Go because my nephew got me into it. This was, I don't know, 2021. And Sudowoodo, I kept catching a Sudowoodo over and over. He just kept appearing when I would try to catch Pokemon. So he ended up becoming my favorite. And my nephew would ask me, what is your favorite Pokemon? I'd tell him, Sudowoodo. And he'd just look at me like, that's the dumbest Pokemon ever. I'm like, no, that makes me even like it even more. So yeah, Sudowoodo. For all you Pokemon masters out there, yeah, you probably think it's lame, but Sudowoodo rules.